going to paint Donnie the Donkey. Hey, thank you for joining me on this beautiful day. We're going to paint Donnie the Donkey and in your downloads. So I'm going live on two places. So I'm live on YouTube and live on Facebook currently in this recording. So if you're watching this at a later time on my Patreon account, know that I'll be talking in real time. So in your downloads, in the Patreon account, Wild Thang Art Academy, you'll have a template to download Donnie the or to transfer Donnie the Donkey onto your canvas. And if you're not sure how to do that, it's under Collections tab, and go to the recording that says how to transfer your image onto the canvas. And you'll end up like this. If you want to freehand Donnie onto your canvas, perfectly fine. Feel free to do that as well. Remember, this is Wild Thang Art Academy, where there's no holds barred, and you just do as you feel your intuitive spirit is leading you. The only rule, because there's no rules except for one rule in Wild Thang Art Academy, and that is to let go of your inner critic. We all have it. We all have that perfectionist inside of us that says, oh, that's not right. That doesn't look right. Let that go. I want you to be led by your spirit, your artistic spirit. Let it come out and play, your little muse there, your artistic muse. So the transfer is in the downloads. And here is the reference photo of Donnie the Donkey. I got this off of a website called Pixabay. It's a royalty-free website that allows you to use free photos of their animals or whatever you decide to do. It's photographers that are gracious enough to allow us artists to borrow their work and paint from. Use it as models. So this is Donnie the Donkey. I have taken this photo, by the way, so this is not what the original photo looked like. I took the photo, I cropped it down, I really saturated the colors in him, and I also took the photo and I decreased the hue in it to cooler tones so you could see more lavenders and blues in it. He's more of a brown donkey in real life, but this is Wild Thang Art Academy. I love colors, lots and lots of colors, bold colors. If you want a brown donkey, you by all means feel led to paint your donkey brown. Perfectly fine. Again, no rules. So welcome, welcome. Let's get started. Are you ready? Let's go. Okay, here we go. So I've got my tea. So that's important. Grab you something to drink. I've got my water to clean my brushes from. And here's the paint that I always use to begin with. I always add more as we go along as I feel led to. So I'm using Golden Brand Magenta. I'm using Golden Brand Phthalo Blue Red shade. I'm using Liquitex brand Indian Yellow. I'm using Liquitex brand Mars Black and Liquitex brand White. These are acrylic colors. Feel free to use whatever color you want to use. All right, let's get started here. So I'm going to start as I normally do with Wild Thang Art Academy. I'm going to start with the liner brush here. I'm going to dip it in the water to get the brush wet, the end of the brush wet. And then I'm going to dip it into the magenta and I'm going to give that a nice little twirl so I get a nice little peak on my brush. And I'm going to start covering up the graphite lines of Donnie the Donkey. So why do I do that? You can, number one, you can feel free to draw or paint Donnie the Donkey onto your canvas, whatever you use. And by the way, I didn't say what canvas I'm using. I am simply painting on a 9x12 canvas board. And I'm painting flat. I normally paint on an easel, but for recording purposes, it works better if I'm painting flat. So I always work, since I'm painting flat, from left to right so I avoid getting my hand in it, because I will get into my paint regardless. And I also have to watch my tea or I'll clean my brush out in my tea. And we can't have that. So I'm just covering the graphite lines. So if you're painting along with me, just feel free to start drawing out Donnie the donkey. I love donkeys. I have a horse and I've been looking for a donkey friend for her. They are good protectors and good companions for horses. And she is the only horse here on our property, and she seems to be doing fine. But I sure would like to get her a companion, because when I take her to go riding with my sister, she's so happy to be around other horses, because they're herd animals and they need companionship. So hopefully I'll get a donkey for her, and it'll be a cute little donkey like Donnie here. But all donkeys are cute. So I'm just simply covering these lines up, the graphite lines, with the magenta. So if you don't have the same paints I have, no problem. Just find a similar color if you want it to look similar to mine. And if you hear some strange snoring sounds, my dog, my old dog, is snoring by my chair. So if you're hearing odd noises, that would be what it is. And if you have any questions, I can't see it with the recording that I'm doing, what I'm recording with, the software I'm recording with. I can't see them, but I will be happy to answer them after I'm done painting. So if you have any questions at all, please feel free to ask them. And if you're watching this on my Patreon at a later date, of course, I'm always here to support you in whatever you need, whatever questions you have. So please don't hesitate. And by the way, upload your paintings. I love to see what everyone is creating. Donkeys have such unique coloring. So why do I put magenta on top of the graphite? Well, to me it adds interest. So there'll be little bits of that magenta peeking through the painting, the underneath of that painting, as I paint along, and it just adds more interest and depth to the painting. Again, this is Wild Thang Art Academy, so whatever you feel led to use as an outline is certainly okay. Or if you don't want to even put an outline, that's perfectly fine as well. Again, I know people are watching. I just don't know who's watching because, like I said, the software that I'm using, I can't see who's watching. But feel free to ask questions if you have any. And when I'm done, I'll look at it and I will be glad to answer any questions anyone has. So as I said earlier, this donkey is mainly, he was a brown donkey, and I really saturated the colors and changed the hue of the donkey. Here's his dorsal strap right here, which got to make sure we get that in. And so I'm going to work on mainly making him a grayer donkey. And then here's this little part of his dorsal strap back here on his rear. And then I didn't get this. All right, so now I'm cleaning out my brush with the water and drying it off, and I'm going to set it aside, and I'm going to start working on the blue area after I drink a cup of tea. And so what I'm going to do with, excuse me, with this is the blue area. So anywhere I see shadow areas in cool tones, I'm going to be adding that blue in those areas. So that's the next step. So I'm going to wet my brush down, and I'm going to dip it into this phthalo blue, and I'm going to start filling in the areas. So I always put blue in the eyes. And these kind of got, there we go. My brush is a little scrubby. My brushes are pretty scrubby, and I spent a long time, years as an artist. I've been painting for, gosh, since I was 16. And I spent, looking at my reference photo here while I'm talking. So I spent years of my life thinking that more expensive brushes would, I would be a better artist with it. Well, guess what? That's not the case necessarily. Not in my situation, in my experience. Let's just put it that way. So what, there's nothing wrong with, sorry, I'm trying to paint and talk at the same time. There's nothing wrong with painting realistic, not a thing. Matter of fact, I admire it. I think it's beautiful. I spent a lot of my art career painting realistic. And when I found this so freeing to let that ideas of trying to make it look exactly like it is, like a photo, and simply do art by creating with colors, bold colors, and playing with it. And it's just freeing. And I say there's nothing wrong with creating realistic. Matter of fact, it's gorgeous. It takes a lot of talent as well. But I say, hey, if you want to paint realistic, just seeing a lot of blue. This is a white nose, but it has a blue undertone underneath, so I'm painting that blue. And it's also black right here. His little tip of his nose here is black, so I'm painting that black as well. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and do the whole nose in blue. And again, dog is snoring. If you're hearing strange grunty noises, that would be my little surf dog, who's napping beside my chair. And then there's blue all down here. Another thing too about doing the magenta is that you can see a lot of your paint lines underneath, so you don't lose your lines. There's blue right here. So we're just basically covering the canvas with paint, with color. And also when you're painting, thinking about the direction of the hair, the anatomy, how it moves, and trying to paint along that anatomy. All right, so I'm done with my cool tones. Now I'm going to put in my warm shadows. So I'm cleaning out my brush, and I got my hair is just going, it's in my way. I don't know what's up with that. Got crazy hair. All right, so I'm going to dip into my magenta now, and I'm going to do the rest of the areas here because they are warm. Again, this is my photo that I'm looking at. So see all the warm golden areas? I'm going to cover that in magenta. Put this right here. And what this does is it kind of lays a foundation for the rest of the paint, your painting process, if that makes sense. Plus, these undercoating colors will add more depth and interest to your paintings. And I'm going to go up here and fill in the warm areas of his ears and the top of his head here. And this ear as well. And that dorsal strap. As you can see, I got into a little bit of that blue, and it turned my magenta a little lavender, which is perfectly fine with me. I'm going to take advantage of that and get that shadow area and get the shadow area as well. Again, thinking of anatomy while I'm painting And I'm going to add a little bit more blue to this area just to darken this, because this is his shadow from where his face is. And then I'm going to go in, I'm going to darken the nose area just a little bit. And this is a black little tip of his nose, so I'm going to go ahead and darken that as well. All right, now that we've got him blocked in with some color, I'm cleaning off my brush, and I left my reading glasses downstairs, so I have these big man reading glasses on. Keep sliding down my face. I'm cleaning off my brush. I'm going to set that brush aside. I'm going to take a little sip of tea because I'm letting the eyes set up just a little bit, because next is the eyes. I want to work on those eyes, and then I'll move up to the ears and the nose. And then we'll finish Donkey. So I'm going to grab a smaller brush, if I can find it here. There. This little scrubby small brush. It's just a little flat brush. It's a cheap one I got at Hobby Lobby, I believe. It's a number 5 flat. I'm going to go ahead and dip into my black, and I'm going to put some pupils in. Now in this photo, you can't, his eyes look completely black in this photo. See how black those are? So we're going to add some light to those eyes by adding a little color. So I'm simply going to darken a shadow here and put like a little pupil in. He's got a little bit of an eyeliner around his eye, so I'm going to add that in as well. And I just got my hand in the paint. Oh, I like that, how that looked. Let's see what. Oh. So you never know what you're gonna, I liked that look, so I am just going to dapple him just a bit. Got my paint, my hand in it, and I liked it. Kind of like that dappledy look. So I'm just gonna add a little bit more interest by blotting it down. Take another drink of tea, or whatever you like. And then I'm going to do the other side. So I'm going to do this other eye here. And I'm creating a shadow there. Again, it's got eyeliner. And putting that in. All right, now I'm going to add a little color to his eyes. So I have the blue underneath. I painted the base coat with blue. So I want to take some of this Indian yellow and set it aside, pull it aside here, and oops, I don't want any blue. That will make a green. So I'm going to take, I just wasn't thinking, and I dipped into the wrong. So I'm going to take the magenta and this Indian yellow, still a little dark. I want to make kind of an orange color because I'm going to be setting it right on top of that blue, and so it will change the color quite a bit. So I'm going to give some color to his eye, simply like that. Okay, I like that. And then I'm going to add a little bit, am I ready to do that yet? Let's go ahead and add just a touch more yellow. And when I get into the fluorescence, which I leave for the end, it's my favorite part, then I will add more color to the eye, add the reflection of the fluorescence. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to make me a little light blue, and that's too dark, so I'm going to lighten that up. And probably what I've got on my brush will be enough blue here for that. And I'm going to go ahead and add just a touch of the whites of the eye, just like that. And I got that white of the eye too dark, so I'm going to go back into this yellow orange. There. I don't know why my dog, he makes such strange noises. I think he's got a little COPD, poor little guy. Pretty particular about the eyes, they're important. So what I'm going to do now is go back into the black just a bit and just a touch there. And then so I'm looking up into the camera watching the painting, and for some reason when you film or take a photo of it, there, I just soften that edge between the pupil and the iris. So now I'm going to create that highlight on this donkey's eyes. So he doesn't have much of one, other than there's one here. I don't like the edge on that. On my brush that I had, I don't like the edge on that. I'm going to go ahead and put a little highlight. And again, you want to think about the curvature of the donkey's eyes. And I got that one just a little too much there. There, that's good enough there. Okay, I'm cleaning out that brush, and then I'm going to get my liner brush, because on the outer edge of that eye, he is reflecting light. So I'm going to take my liner brush and get into that very light blue. I'm wetting it down so that the paint will flow off of it a little better. And I'm just putting an edge on this eye, making sure my head's not getting in the... Just a touch like that. Now, when I look up into the camera, I'm going to put the edge back in his eyelid that I just took out. Oh, I've got it. I'm going to take some Indian yellow and go right. And then I will be going back in and putting more in that. I'm going to bring that eye up just a little bit. Looks a little bit, it's not wanting to flow off my brush. So again, wet it down, twirl it around. I'm using acrylics, so they dry quickly. And there's a little dark spot here. Just kind of placing that in. Okay, so I'm going to stop on the eyes for right at the moment, and I'm going to move up to the ears and work on those ears. So I'm going to grab, it's a little slant brush like this. This is an old, like I said, all my brushes are old. It says it's a 3/8 slant brush. And I'm going to start working on those ears. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put black in the shadow areas, and that'd be right in here where I placed that blue. There's like a deep shadow in there, and it kind of goes down like that. Same with this shadow area. I'm going to put that here. And that's simply where it recesses back into his head. Also, did you know these large ears, and I didn't know this, those large ears help heat dissipate from their bodies. So they're not only good for hearing, but they help dissipate heat from their body, which I find that quite intriguing. And you know what I did not do is put his highlight in his eye. So I'm going to take him the end of the brush, the little white spot in his eye, the reflection, take the end of that liner brush that I had, and I'm just simply got a little dab of paint right there. And I'm going to put a highlight right in his eye, right there, and right there. There. So now he's got some reflection in his eye, and he's looking at us. All right, back to the ears. I get sidetracked. I see something and I just have to work on it. So then his ears are really fuzzy. Grab the reference photo again. His ears are, like, I see a lot of blue, light blue right here, and a lot of yellow and white right here, and then of course beautiful orange right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start working on the light blue area. So I like this light blue that I had made up for the light reflection. I'm going to make a little bit more of that. And we're just going to go ahead and put some of that in. And his ears are quite fluffy. And it's mixing with that black, which is fine with me. There, that's good for that. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. good enough. So let's go in to some Indian yellow. And I believe I'm going to use straight Indian yellow. Now I've got to be careful because I just put the blue in, and that blue, if I mix the yellow and the blue, it will create a green. Okay, good enough there. Let's go into the other ear as well and put that in there. Okay, there is that part of it. Now we're going to go in to, see, I see a lot of white, but I also see more black on the tips of his ears. So like here's black, and right here, and right there is black. Black down here as well. Same with the other ear, there's more black right here, and then black right here. Okay, I'm gonna let that set up. And while I'm doing that, while I've got the black here, I'm going to go ahead and just put in some little wispies here. Just a little bit. And I'm just flicking. Okay. Like I said, I can't see comments. I can't see who's viewing. I just know people are watching. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. I can't see them right at the moment, but when I get done, I'll be glad to answer any questions you might have. Okay, I'm going to let those ears set up. And what I think I'm going to do is go ahead and work on the golden tones in this donkey. And I'm going to place that right over the magenta. So I love how the yellow looks on top of that magenta. And I'm using Indian yellow. And everywhere that I've got that magenta, I'm going to coat it with some Indian yellow. Now this Indian yellow brand happens to be a little translucent. So it shows the colors of the donkey and it gives it a glow. And again, thinking about the anatomy and the curvature of where everything is curving and trying to follow that. And a little sparkle. I'm just adding that down in the body just to add interest. All right, so what I want to do now is I want to fill in the rest of the area, and it's kind of, well, let's go to the nose. Let's do the nose. I like to do nose, eyes, ears, and nose. Let's do the nose, and then we'll move up. The ears will have set up a little bit, and I can move up and start correcting those ears. So let's dip into the nose. I'm going to take black. I'm still using my slanted brush here, and I'm going to darken the nose holes here. And I'm going to darken his little nose where he's dark here on the okay. And I see some a little bit of pink or lavender in the tip of his nose. Right in here. And a little bit right there. And again, this is Wild Thang, so I am exaggerating these colors. And then black goes well with, is a cool shade. So I'm gonna clean out my brush and add just a little interest with some lighter blue, which is drying up. So I'm gonna make me some more. Mixing the white and the phthalo blue. Where I'm seeing it kind of is transitions from the white . So I'm remembering to follow the anatomy, and it's kind of curving right there and right there. So now I'm going to go into the white. I'm cleaning out my brush, and I'm going to go into this white here. And we're going to whiten this nose up. And anywhere where I'm seeing a highlight, I am adding. mind taking out some of those brush marks just slightly. Okay, now we've got part of the nose done, so I'm good enough with that for right now. Just cleaning out my brush. I'm going to move back up to the ears, and let's see what we can do with those ears. I'm going to go ahead and get right into my white and start adding these wispy hairs. Clean out my brush a little bit so I have more pure color, and do the same thing on this side. Okay, that's coming along. I'm going to clean out my brush and clean up the edges of the ear. So I'm seeing this yellow right in here. And there's a highlight right up here on these ears. That I'll exaggerate with once I get out the magenta, the fluorescence. I'm going to go ahead and dip into my magenta, speaking of magenta, and I'm going to go ahead and darken some of this just to add just lost my camera. Hold on. I forgot to plug my main camera in. Let's see if we can't fix that. I have some technical difficulties, folks. Let's see if it back on. I failed to plug my phone in. I'm using my phone as the camera, and I failed to plug that in. And what I just did there was just add an interesting mark because I like interesting marks. Okay, so where was I? Let's go back. So let's move down from the ears into this area right here. And let's see, do I want to, I think I do want to highlight while I'm here. I'm going to grab some Indian yellow, and I'm just going to highlight some of this area right here with that Indian yellow because it's just so stinking cute. And I'm going to add a little white to that. Clean off my brush and add a little bit more white. Make it more of a lemony yellow. And add it right there. And then while I've got this on my brush, I'm liking it, so I'm going to go ahead and add some highlights down here in this area here. He's caught the woolly little guy. I'm going to go ahead and put some add this hair in here with some highlights on that orange that I put on earlier. Started with magenta and then with the Indian yellow on top of that to make an orange, and see how that's kind of added some interest and depth to that area there. Okay, now I'm going to clean out my brush and I'm going to move up into this area here, and I'm going to make kind of a gray. I believe that's what I will do. And I'm going to mix black and white, and I'm going to add a touch of blue. And I'm going to go into these areas here. And gray this all down. And again, thinking about the direction of the how it's flowing. And leaving some of that blue underneath peeking through. And this hair is kind of going out like that. It's got a little cowlick right there. And this is all stemming from that cowlick. And now in this area here, let's go back. Let's go into this area right here. And some more. And again, I just can't remind people enough. Think about the anatomy in which the hair is going. I'm liking this gray color, so I think I'm going to add some of this to his nose. And I like it. I'm going to put it right there. That's going to be white, but I like that gray color, so I'm going to add that right there underneath his eyes there where and he has some little splotches of gray that's kind of peeking through on his body here that I'm going to go ahead and put in. Like so. A little bit more right. I want that nice color to continue to show through, but like I did earlier, I'm going to take this towel to use my brush, and I'm going to kind of soften that up just a touch right there, right there, so that continues to peek through. All right, let's take a look. Let's add some lavender because I like lavender. I'm going to grab the dioxazine. So what I'm using is dioxazine, golden dioxazine purple. Golden brand dioxazine purple. Now you can make lavender. I'm going to put right there. So you can make lavender with the pink and the blue, which I'm going to do that as well. So I have two different colors of lavender. And by that I mean this right here, and mix it all up. If you can see what I'm doing, yeah, I'm still on camera there. Add some white to that, and you get a nice lavender. Mop off my brush a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and put in some lavender, and I'm using the kind of the edge of that, the corner of that of my little brush here, and I'm going to kind of re-emphasize this little calic thingy that he's got going on. And it's kind of goes that. He's got a little bit of that darker. I'm gonna pull a little bit of that up in about right there. Just to pull that up into the painting to make it a little bit more connecting. taking out this brush, and I'm going to get into the dioxazine purple that I put out on the, but that's looking blue when I look in the camera. In real life, that's lavender. So here's the dioxazine purple, and it's a lot darker, so it'll add more contrast. I'm just making some kind of artistic marks in here with this. I'm going to go ahead and re-emphasize the shadow right here. Brush, but I see another area I want to emphasize just a bit, and that would be right here. And I think I'm going to add a touch of that purple to his eye. There. Okay, so for whatever reason my my camera is plugged in and it's still in low battery and it keeps going out. Let me make sure it's plugged into the back here. Yes, it is plugged into the back, so I'm not sure why it's going in and out. Again, I can't see who is watching, but if you have any questions at all, please put them in the comments, and I'd be glad to answer them when I'm done, because I can't see the comments with the software that I'm using to stream live. But if you do have any questions, please ask them, and when I get done here, I'll look at them and I will be glad to answer them. If you like this, I have a Patreon account called Wild Thang Art Academy. Please join me there. There's a 7-day free trial. Would love to have you join us there at Wild Thang. I've got 24 classes, I think, uploaded so far. And after this one, 25. The rest of the month, I'll be doing, this is Donnie the Donkey. I'll be doing, let's see, what have I got scheduled here? German Shepardo. And Roxy the Rearing Horse is coming up, and Squeaky the Squirrel is coming up. So I'll be painting those this month, and would love to have you join us. So where am I? Let's see. Let's go with some pink. So I'm going to make up some light pink. Let's see what this looks like on here. And go in just a little bit. this pink, so I'm going to emphasize some things with it. It's a dark area right there. I probably should go back in and fix that. Okay, enough of the pink for now. I saw a little dark area over here on the corner of his eye. I'm going to go in and put that in the dark purple, so the dioxazine purple. I'm going to put that in right here. There it is. Okay, so I accented those eyes with the dark purple. Wrapped his eyelid back around him. He's got quite a bit of a hooded eyelid there, so I wrapped that back around. All right, so I think I'm ready to get back into the white, and I've muddied up my white quite a bit, so I'm just going to take some white aside, some pure white, and highlight that nose where it's really bring out the white, because he's white. And my camera has gone out again. I'm not sure. Let me plug it back in. So I'm going to stand up and plug it back in. Should be charging, but I'm not sure why it's not charging. So sorry about that. There we go. Let's see if this is working now. Oh, technology. Okay, so I was in the white. So re-emphasizing that. Making sure I'm not going out again on my, I hope the microphone is working okay. Because my microphone I'm using is and then back up here into this hair. And we're going to add a little dots up in here and there. Okay, now I'm going to emphasize the whites under his eyes because they're really white right there. And he's eyelid right there. And the same with this one. And again, I know I keep saying this, but if you hear strange noises, my dog is snoring at my feet. And he's old and he snores very loudly. Add a little bit more. There. Okay. Now I'm going to go back up into this little main area there that I've kind of left. And I think I'm going to do purple. So take the dioxazine purple and lighten that down with some white. Little highlights there. Just a little bit there. I think I'm ready to get into the fluorescence, favorite part. So I'm going to get into the orange first. So I've got this Golden Brand fluorescent orange. Make sure I usually get these all over the place because these are real liquidy. So I'm gonna see if I can find a spot on my palette that you can see right there. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah. I need to add that to the orangey areas, and I love these. Add that. I'm gonna here. And to me, this looks like just like sunshine. Bouncing off of and this is one of those colors that doesn't show up on camera for whatever reason. And it's just so much prettier in real life because it's a fluorescent orange and it just looks like sunshine. Is about sunshine roof, like a sunset. And I always like to add this to the eye because it's such a pretty color. So a little bit to that nose, just a touch. Okay, now I'm going to get into the fluorescent pink. The same thing, it's a Golden Brand fluorescent pink. Shake that up. Pour just a little bit near here if I don't make a mess. Just a little bit. And I'm going to add just some touches of pink. A lot of times I like to combine the orange and the pink. And a lot of times I like to add the pink to the eyes as well. All right, now I'm going to go back into the white. And again, brighten him up just a bit. Add just a few more. Like the hairs are being highlighted here. Taking some of those hard edges off just a bit. And adding more white to his nose, because he's got a pretty white nose. And then I'm going to add some sunshine with that fluorescent orange to the top of his little and other than eyelashes and whiskers, we're about wrapping him up. Again, maybe a little bit of, let's do some teal blue. So I'm going to get out the golden teal, brand teal blue, this golden fluid. Teal blue, give it a nice little shake. I'm gonna that's right in here. I'm seeing that. Kind of like the way that's colors from the rest of those colors, so I'm going to add that in. Add a little sparkle right there. And I'm thinking he's about wrapping up in this. And I'm not liking the way that blue looks right there, so I'm going to blend it just a touch where it meets the white. There, that's better. Okay. Of course, I think I want to take it and break up that blue edge there. Just some spots there. There we go. That's better. All right, I think we're time for, make sure. Let me go back in with some blue and darken this up. Just slightly. And then I'm going to take some of this teal blue and bring that up there into the black for a few little highlights. There we go. That adds some interest and that brought it up. Okay, I think we're ready for whiskers and eyelashes and ear hair. So let me see which liner brush I want to use, which one. I'm going to go with this one. So I'm going to go with my liner brush. And I'm going to start putting in whiskers. So what I'm seeing though is let's go ahead and add a few little wispies up here. Just like that, just to add so it's not so stubby. And then I'm going to do white, and I just wetted my brush down, and I'm going to give it a nice little twirl, and I'm going to go ahead and add whiskers up here. And because it's a white canvas, you can't see it once it goes off the canvas, but your eye will finish it for you. So I'm giving it little wispies there in the top of the ear. And then to the eyelashes, I'm going to clean out that liner brush And I'm going to go ahead and put the eyelashes in, and they're in black, so it's going to be hard to see those eyelashes. So we'll see what we come up with. I may have to switch to a it's easy to overdo, and I have a little dab of water on that brush that just get run into the painting, which is fun. And I'm going to re-wet that brush. There, that's just a little suggestion of eyelashes. And then his whiskers are black and white. So a good color combination would be the gray, if I've got any of that left here. And I'm gonna get a light gray here, and I'm gonna twirl my brush. And I'm gonna go ahead and put his whiskers in. He's got little choppy whiskers right here. Little whiskers up here. Little whiskery thing. Darken that gray down just a touch so you can see it off the canvas. And I'm just barely touching my brush to the canvas. Some little wispies right in there as well. And he's got some eyebrows. So I'm going to go up there and put those in. Like that. And I can emphasize those eyelashes with just a little bit of gray. There. And I think I want to go ahead and put more of that light blue. Remember that light blue white highlight that I put in his eye? I think I want to emphasize that just a little touch more. A little too much paint on my brush, so I'm going to twirl it to get that thinner. And the same with this eye right here. I'm going to turn this sideways just a touch. And then I'm going to clean that out. I'm going to sparkle it with just a tiny bit of white. And sparkle it means light reflected. Narrow in again with too much water bled down. I've cleaned out my brush and the water bled down my brush tip, and saturated my paint too much. Okay, I think we are done with Donnie the Donkey. So I'm going to go ahead. What I tell all my people in the Wild Thing Art Academy is, if you're not real happy with Donnie the Donkey right now, that's okay. You have let your inner artist come out and play, and the whole main thing of that. But trust me, he is as unique as your own thumbprint. Nobody else can paint Donnie the Donkey like you. So honor that process. You did fabulous if you joined me. Thank you. And I want you to take a nice deep breath and then congratulate yourself. So great job in painting Donnie the Donkey. If you were watching live and want to join us in these sessions, I have plenty of classes that you can do what you can, but the advantage of that is that you can follow along with me. You can pause the video, paint along, and then push play again and rejoin me. So that's the advantage there. Plus, you got my undying love and support. And so anything you might need in the Wild Thing Art Academy, I'm there to assist you every step of the way. It's also the cost for all those paintings, unlimited access. It's the cost of a latte a month. And there's a 7-day free trial, so you can give it a try. I invite you to head on over to patreon.com Wild Thang Art Academy. Thank you so much for joining me. Leave comments if you have any questions. I'll be glad to answer them. And have a wonderful rest of the day, and I will see you next time. Bye.